And I know and can see that there is no belief in any past to rise against me. I live in the now, free from any yesterdays or tomorrows. Now, I am happy, free, complete. And so it is. Well, everybody's in this, well, hopefully, in this transformation time period that we're in here at Center for Spiritual Living, Savannah. Transformation is interesting. I'm just going to go through some words. First being transformation. Trans, to go through. Formation. I mean, just keep it simple. We're forming ourselves by going through process. We're always transforming because we're always going through a process. But are we directing the transformation? And that's what this 28 days of transformation is about. People ask the question, how are things? How are things? No matter whether we say that we are advocates of science of mind, advocates of our mind directing our reality, you'll still hear people say, how are things? And the answer is, for me anyway, it doesn't matter how things are. It matters how I am. Because I'm not directed by things. I'm not directed by circumstances. That which is around me, that which stands around me. You know, we have to realize, we look at things and we stress about things. I mean, how many of us have stressed about making a house payment, where we're going to live at, what kind of car we're going to drive, if we can get a better car, if we can get any car at all. I mean, it's just me, right?
Yes, of course.
Oh, okay. I was just checking to see if I was in the right room. But, you know, we all stress about those things, and it's okay, it's natural, you know, to go through processes of observing our environment and then saying, I wonder if I'm going to be able to feed my family or myself this month. I wonder if I'm going to be able to get a car to get to work. I wonder if I'm going to be able to make this payment to buy this house, rent this house, rent an apartment, rent a room. All of our needs being met. Will I have appropriate clothes to do what I need to do? But that is wondering how things are. How are things? In science of mind, however, we start with the idea, the thought. First of all, there is only one. That one presence, that one energy. And from that energy, all things emanate. So we need to focus ourselves on the energy. But we were looking at how things are, we have to say, wait a minute, let's direct this process of transformation. I can look at my circumstances and say, that's not the way that I desire to be. So therefore, what I'm going to do is direct this transformation. In my mind, I can see what I would like to have. There was a time period where there was no car. But then some brilliant individual said, I could make a horseless carriage. There was a time where people just jumped on the horse and said, I want to go ahead and ride through the plains. When they said, hey, I could make a carriage for that. There was a time where people lived in a cave or a natural awning or dwelling that said, you know, I could actually create some walls and draw this out and build my vision. Everything that we see, planes, trains, automobiles, houses, cars, everything that we see came from here first, came from the mind. Even things that didn't exist, like steel, process, through transformation, through taking materials that were separate, seemingly, and putting them together and putting it into a process and making a new thing. So there are no limits. There are no limits to what we can do with our thoughts. No matter how convincing our perceived troubles are or can be, we have the ability to change our inner perception, and we have to keep that. You also get the question, what's the matter? Again, matter. And please alert me if I'm being too technical, because I'm a science guy, from way back. But matter, those things that we can feel, taste, smell, touch, feel, matter. What's the matter? Before there's matter, there's thought. We have to make sure that we are always putting ourselves forward from the mind out to the outer experience. And what we're going through is just transformation in that process. We have to trust that process, knowing that there is an energy, a creative energy, whatever we want to call it, and some call it God, that is directing our life from the point where we have put out a thought, an idea. And we have to trust that idea is going to come forth in manifest form. Some things that we may go through may not seem like they are congruent, that they are in concert, they are in harmony with our goal. However, because we don't know how the goal works, we don't know how the process works to reach that goal, rather, we have to trust that even those strange things that are happening, once we have given our full faith and trust to the process, that is part of the transformation process. So just remember, we must have that faith in ourselves and the process that is us. Because there is, as Ernest Holmes says, no man outside of God. We are all in this oneness. So trust that even the things that are not seen in our circumstances are still working in our favor. And we are going through the process of reaching that goal that we have set in our mind and determined to reach. Thank you. All right, and now I'm going to hand you back to the sure hands of our practitioner, Debbie Hammond. Speaking in this case.
Good morning again. Good morning. Good morning. And no, I am not Reverend Wesley Kramer. He's somewhere. I don't know if he's traveling back to me or not. But I am your guest speaker for today. So thank you for showing up and being here. I'm trying to look at the script also, so make sure I'm where I'm supposed to be. Okay, sounds good. So, thank you. So, for these past 20-something days, we've been in this place, as he's mentioned, this place of transformation, 28 days of transformation. And so, where I tie in with that is just being thankful for the transformation. And one of the things this morning I had when I woke up, it's like I was sitting there still trying to write out what I was going to speak about today. And the printer that I usually use wasn't working properly. And I was like, okay, God, how are we working this out? And so in this process, I'm like, okay, what can I do? So I can, send a message to a friend and say, can you, print it out and bring it to church with you? And in the meantime, there was something else that was saying, the Spirit was saying, do this also as a backup. also declared that I know the way, that I know the path, it lies before me. There is no fear in me, as I realize that there is a mighty power behind all of that. And in that place, it's like, we've been making these declarations in our lives. And if we've been going through this, that these things that we've been declaring, so it's like some stuff has to come up, because when we speak our word, it has to come up to the surface. It's like these things that we're declaring, it's like these things, that has been owned, we have to release. And so now we're in this place of, if we're declaring all of this, then something new has to show up. So that means something old has to go away. And these things start showing up. And so we have this thing that sometimes that people start feeling with colds, congestions, or things that are going on in the bodies right now. And a lot of that is because we've been digging this stuff up in the surface. So it's coming up to the surface for us to let it go. So it's like it can no longer stay within the body. So in this place, where is it supposed to go? So it comes up in the form of congestion. Is it not recording or? Okay. It comes up in the form of congestion or cold or, flu. And although people are saying it's like this is the cold and flu season, but is that what we're taking into our beliefs? It's like I tell people, I say, I've never had the flu shot. I've never had the flu. I'm not planning on getting the flu unless I decide that that's what I want to do. So, but it's in this place of, as we're navigating through this transformation, and we know that there is no fear in me, there's no fear in us. And it's like, and that takes me back to, I think I told you all about when I went skydiving, and how I was at the door of the plane, it's like I realized that I was trying to find something to be scared of. And in that process, and I really realized that as my tandem partner and I were about to jump out of the plane, and he was saying, well, I'm going to count to 3, and then we're going to go out the door. And I was like, okay, cool. And I'm really excited. And it's like, okay, we can do this. And I'm still standing there like, there's something for me to be scared of. But there was something within me that knew that there was nothing for me to fear, that I was safe right where I was, because God is always in me, and God is safe, so I know that I was safe. So he counted 1, 2, boom, out the door. And in this process, I'm thinking, it's like as we're, going down, I'm like, this is what it feels like to come to that birth canal, It's like, because when you come to that birth canal, it's like, I was trying to turn my head back. It's like, well, I guess I can't go back up that way, So it's like, I have to keep going. So it's like, that's the baby coming out. It's like, you're out there now. You can't go back into the womb. I can't go back into that place that was comfortable for me. And it's like, that plane was that comfort place for me in that moment. It's like, and then by the time I jumped out of there, it's like, okay, I'm free. But at that moment, it's like, it felt like there was like wings or hands behind me or holding me, supporting me as I was making that move there. And that's the thing, that in this place of transformation, it's like we know that we're always supported no matter what the process is that we're going through. No matter what it looks like on the surface, we know that we're always supported. If we've been doing this 28 days of transformation, I know, it's like for me, like I said, something's been coming up, so I can only imagine there's only one of us. So I know that each and every one of us is going through some kind of process. We may not talk about it, we may not, share it with everyone, but we know that there's a process that's happening within us. And it's like, so then it's like, when that stuff starts coming up, what do we do with it? Do we just sit with it? Do we just, it's like, well, I don't know what to do with it. We complain about it, what? And my thing is like, when these things start coming up, to give thanks for it first. To be in this place of absolute gratitude for that that's showing up in our lives. It's like, it may look crazy. Right now I'm in a place of, I have to move within the next couple of days from where I'm staying. It's like, okay, God, how this happens, I don't know. I'm being open. So, and I know that there's something that shows up, because I'm in that place of just absolute trust. In this transformation, I know that it works. And I've seen it happen too many times for it not to work. And so in this place, as we're going through this, when we're going through transforming through the trouble, it's like when we're in this place that when we affirm see it right away. And it may take some months, it may take some weeks, it may take some hours. But it shows up. And then you go back and it's like, well, where did this come from? I didn't call this forth. Yes, you did. You know, it's like there was something within you, it's like something that you said, something that you thought, that called this experience into your existence now. So when these things start showing up, that we still just give thanks for it. It's like, you know what, I don't know what this is, I'm grateful that I'm here, even if you don't really feel it in that moment, because you may say, this is crazy, so I don't know what. I did not ask for this, but you know what, God, I'm giving thanks for this, because there's always a blessing in this. When it shows, it's like when there's a transformation, there's always a blessing, there's something that shifts, and you may not see it in that moment. You may just want to quit and say, you know what, I can't do this anymore. Hold out. Continue to, to tread on that path, because there's something that comes out good on the other end of this. You know, it's like one of my friends, it's like we always talk about, I can't wait to see how this unfolds on the other side. Because it's like, because right now it feels really painful, or it feels, the heart is hurting, the body's in pain, whatever. I can't wait to see how this turns out on the other side. Because on the other side, it's like, I know this has to be amazing. Because I know that God is in control of this. That God is in me. So I know that there is no pain, no fear, no doubt, none of that we in our human self claim. So I know that in this place, that God is in absolute control. So, so as you all have been going through these 28 days of transformation, how's it been working out for you? Have you been having experiences and, exciting things happening that may not seem exciting? Some things like, why did I start this 28 days of transformation? It's like, oh my gosh, what did I get myself into? And these things happen. And it's like, if the questions that show up, that's natural. And, sometimes like when these things that feel or seem negative that show up, it's like, a lot of times it's like there are things that show up that may not even look like what we are actually claiming. It's like when we say we want a new house or we want, this, or this situation is not working out for us. And it's like, I want this house on this street on this corner, it has to be this. And then we end up moving to a person in a house in this area over here. It's like, well, why am I over here? That's not what I asked for. And the thing is that when you trust that process, when you trust God within you, that God will always put you in the place where you need to be. And it's like, and so when you open yourself up to that, in this place of, be it the perfect career, perfect partner, perfect housing, car, whatever. So when we declare that we allow Spirit within us to guide us on our paths, we attract to us that which is truly for us in order to become more aware, to become more of ourselves. We may have said in the past, why did I take this job? It doesn't pay me what I'm worth. And then you get to learn some amazing skills. You get to meet some amazing people. You get to build, community there. Then you also get to take something from that place and create something on your own. And it's like, and if it hadn't been for you being in that position, this over here, starting your own business may not have happened. And I tell the stories like when I left from D.C. and I went to California, that wasn't even on my radar. I was headed to Hawaii. And on the plane, Spirit's like, well, you're staying in California. I'm like looking around like, who? And it's like, I don't know a soul here. That was 25 years ago, 26 years ago. And that had been the most amazing experience, just taking that step of faith. Because during that time, it's like I created so many amazing family bonds. And the community that I knew and grew to love, last year I walked away from. That comfort zone I had to walk away from. And so at certain times, it's like in this place, we have to walk away from that's comfortable to us. In this place of transformation, we have to walk away from that comfort zone. Because one of the things I was seeing the other day is like, when you step out of the comfort zone, you step into the magic zone. Because the comfort zone keeps us stuck. The comfort zone is like, this is all familiar over here. I can hang out over here forever and ever. That looks scary over there. I don't want to go over this side. I'll stay here. And then there's something that comes along on the side that wants to push you. to change my mind. And that was my human side. So it was like, let me just continue to go on this and just say yes. So when we go through these transformations, and over time, it's like I realized that these help us to recognize that we're evolving. Those things that we call bad or tragic or drastic changes that have happened, when you look at the other end of it, that there's an evolution that happened in that process, that where you started from in the beginning and where you are now is somewhere totally different. And it's like because your mind has shifted, your thought process, your energy, your consciousness has shifted. And in that place, you realize, maybe that wasn't so bad over there after all. Maybe that relationship over there wasn't so bad, or maybe if I had seen that person in a different light, rather than think that they're the worst person ever, I get to realize that that is God. And so now in this awareness, I get to recognize that that individual, be it the boss or a former partner or whatever, that's God. And that there was a lesson in that for me to learn. So I give thanks for that lesson that I've learned in this process. And as we go through this transformation, just give thanks for where you are right now. Give thanks for the transformation that happens in our lives on a daily basis, because every day when we wake up, we're always transforming. There's something, a thought process change. Whatever we thought yesterday may shift today. And it's like we still hold on to that same energy of yesterday, but there's still this thought that changes about it. But I don't need to think about that today. Today is a brand new day. What is it that I get to do differently today? So in that place, to just give thanks for where you are. Give thanks for our lives on this journey as we find a sense of purpose in life. Knowing that we cannot achieve this transformation without the difficult situations of the pain that often brings in that the Spirit often gives us in generous doses. And sometimes we may think it's like, this stuff happens all at one time. It's like, it's like when it rains, it pours. And it's like, and the thing is, like, in that rain, it's like, what is it that's being washed away? What is it when these painful things show up? What is it that we're releasing? What is it that we're ready to let go of? Because they're showing up for us to let it go. The thing I always say is like, it has to come up for us to give it up. So it has to come up out of the dirt, all that muck has to come up to the surface for us to let it go. So that we're open to walking into that place of how Spirit is guiding us. To walk in that place of our true divine self. To walk in that place of, you know what, I know God's got my back. Always. And it's like in that process, I can only trust. So, every seemingly bad experience, painful relationship, or compromise that you've ever made in good consciousness will or has in some form transformed into an amazing place of spiritual gifts and blessings. Difficult times happens to get our attention, to transform. So there are a few things that we can do in this process. So as you're going through this transformation, and Reverend Wesley will wrap it up for us on next Sunday, trust the process. You may not understand where it's taking you, what's happening with it, but trust the process. There's a higher purpose behind every seemingly impossible and difficult phase that you're going through. Trust and know that it's working out for your highest and best. Change. We always hear the saying, change your thinking, change your life. Change that thought process. Change whatever it was that you thought yesterday, whatever it was that you thought about that family member. As we're coming up for the holiday seasons, there are a lot of people that are not, choosing not to celebrate with their families for whatever reasons. Like some because it's like there's animosity. There are some people who they don't have family here, and that's part is okay. But with those that there's animosity, it's like, what is it that you can change about your mindset, about how you interact with other people? And not to allow how one person has shown up in the past to dictate how you're going to show up in the present. And this place of allowing yourself to be the bigger person, to see that God in that individual. Because you know that when you see God, you can't be mad at God. It's like you know that God has never hurt you, God has never done God in that person. You know, as we're going through this process of being thankful, we're coming up on Thanksgiving, and being thankful for all that's unfolded, being thankful for where we are right now. Because somewhere that person that you may be upset with played a part in where you are right now. That there has been, and you know, it's like some people may look at it, well, they didn't do this and they should have done this. Well, that wasn't their role. You know, we have to look at what's our role in our own lives. This is our transformation. This is our journey. It's not anyone else's journey to take for us. So, giving thanks for that, being in that journey of finding out who am I. And then believe. Believe that it's done to you as you believe. What are you believing about yourself? About the situation? About anything? When you believe in yourself, you have to. Because even if those around you are not believing in you, there has to be something within you that's believing in you. And you have to say, I can do this. Even if there's no one supporting me right now, I know that I can do this. And I know that God's supporting me. God has my back. There's this book that I read periodically, and it's called This Thing Called You. And it talks about the belief. As said, when Jesus said, it is done to you as you